Welcome back to Reactioncast. It's your host Jesus, aka Tyrant Dominus, here to give you another anime review. This time around, we're going to be talking about the Eminence in Shadow. So, yes, this is another series where I'm a big fan of the novel or the manga, and I wanted to see how they did an adaptation of this. And to start out, this is a 20 episode season, 20 episodes for season 1, which threw me off a little bit. So yeah, you're getting 20 episodes for season 1, which is fantastic. I'm going to start with that. You normally get for animes, you usually get 12, 13 episodes. The way they did I believe, I'm trying to remember now, the 3 to 4 arcs in this thing for the 20 episodes, they did a good job here. And so that's kind of the to kind of throw you what you're in for there. So Eminence in Shadow is, to put it simply, it's an isekai with an overpowered MC by the name of Sid Kaguno. And what is different and what I like about this character, and there's a lot of people have been saying online, but I would say, in my opinion, he is one of the best protagonists you can get when it comes to these like overpowered isekai types of characters. This story is about Sid, who his only goal is to be the strongest he can be, and he's not your classic, like he goes to another world to, for justice or fight demons. He wants to be overpowered so he can showcase in such cinematic moments. He is that character. Now, the fun thing about his character and who he is this is what he is in the shadows. His alter ego is Shadow. This overpowered, like, underworld lord is Shadow. But in everyday life, he is Sid, the younger brother of I believe they're like Marquise family, but that doesn't matter. He's nothing in the everyday life. He wants to be a background character in the everyday life. He wants to just blend into the world and let his alter ego Shadow be the main character. It's this kind of cringy thing, and honestly, you go into it. I like that they went into it. When I was reading it, I like that he's this character that he wants to be this way. Now, the reason it's fun is to kind of give you a glimpse of what this show is. So he's our main character. He's our protagonist. So the world this character exists in, it's another world. I'll start by saying episode 1 threw me off a little bit because it's been a while since I've read it. So episode 1 takes place on Earth, classic. Usually that's how it normally starts with isekais, and then the death of the character, and then he wakes up in another world, right? This one actually expands longer and gives you a little bit more sense of Sid as far as episode 1, and it's not until the end of the episode that when he passes. It's not really a big spoiler because it's an isekai. But it was interesting that they did that. They showcased a little bit of who Sid was in episode 1, and then the world he now exists. It sounds like it's just an alternate Earth. So you get a lot of different names, just different names for different cities and stuff like that. Just some alternatives here and there, and you get your classic trope of having magic in the world as well. Now, the fun part about Sid and the world and the way the story works is that as a young child, he's still trying to become this overpowered character. That's what he was trying to do on Earth, and now he's trying to do it in this other world, alternate Earth. And he accidentally rescues one individual who is possessed and rescues her, and to kind of have some semblance of this rescue, he puts on the persona of Shadow and makes up a reason that he's doing this. Like, he makes up that there's a cult and there's a hidden war and everything, but then it turns out to be real. So he is oblivious to the world's. All he cares about is showcasing his prowess as this Shadow Lord. And it's funny because this is how the show works. It works because of how the plot is laid out. I'm going to start by saying some other things about the show. I'm not going to deep dive into the series. I'm going to start by saying, as far as an anime is concerned, I believe, who did this? Studio Nexus did this. Fantastic art, fantastic animation. All the battle sequences that are showcased here are beautifully drawn. They are amazing to watch. The art style, everything's really like nicely detailed. The score, the music, that's another thing. They do such a good job with the score, and some of the soundtracks they use, really good, like fantastic. And then, like I said, we're following Sid, but the story is told by the supporting cast. And what do I mean by that? Remember, a lot of the story is kind of a made-up original plot by this kid, but it's actually real, and he is oblivious to all this. All Sid cares about is getting key moments for his character, and a lot of the it's also like a harem style anime. He gets like a bunch of like women to join him, but it's not in that sense where it's like they're in love with him. They see him as an overpowered individual as well, and they are doing the real work, and they are doing all the storytelling while he is the background character. And what I'm saying here as well is, like, when this show does his like everyday thing and he's like doing this weird meta commentary, which sometimes it can feel a little rough, mostly with shows these days like Rick and Morty, and I've seen clips of Velma, but he does it in a way where he's just talking to himself, and in a way he's also talking to the audience, but not in such a bad way, because he's just contemplating to himself how he can do certain scenes and how he wants to portray things. And when he's playing a background character, a lot of the story is done so well when this happened, because he's making the supporting cast do all the work to explain situation, explore their characters, and his background, like his background character blends into the background really well. He is the epitome of a background character when he is doing this, and he's blending in while letting the supporting cast do the work for him, basically. And I find that humorous and amazing, because it doesn't feel like forced. He's still there, he's still putting input as minimal as possible, but then when he is Shadow, even then he's just playing his Shadow character while he is still oblivious to what's actually happening. To him, everyone's playing a game, but everyone else, there's a tremendously fun and intriguing story that lives are on the line, and the supporting cast expands upon all this, and it's really good. And it showcases, like, some of these supporting cast characters, his harem, they are not these like just one-sided or sided characters. They are expanded upon, some more than others for sure, but they have a reason to be there. They have like goals, and he just, when he's interacting with them, they elevate them, and vice versa. Even when he's the background character, he elevates them as well. So the supporting cast becomes these main characters. He literally says it that way when these quote named characters are on screen, and this is a weird way to do storytelling, but it works really well, because the story of just kind of this, your classic kind of like government versus the church versus like secret society and all this stuff. It's really fun, mostly when there's a character who thinks this is a game while it's actually happening, but he still plays a key role in it. It's just fun to watch. And I'll say this again, like, battle sequences done fantastic. It's like the story is fun, intriguing, and actually has depth to it. Characters each have reasonable depth, the uniqueness to them. Some are a little your classic tropey, but it works for what they are doing. Battle sequences are wonderfully animated, score good. It's very hard to find much negative. I can see if you're not really into these isekai or like these overpowered characters, then I could see people being, because there's been a lot of discussions, but it works really well for the Eminence in Shadow, because it's just a fun show with like intriguing moments. They even did a few little changes with some names here and there that just made it a little bit funnier, and I really enjoyed those too. Just overall, I can tell you, like, I could discuss the actual intricacies of the show in itself, but as far as just an adaptation of the work and the show, it is great. It is fun to watch. There's very few negatives here and there. I could say there's like a few little moments where I wish they expanded upon, a few characters I wish they like did more with, but for what you got with 20 episodes, I'm happy with it. So I'm going to give The Eminence in Shadow a 10 out of 10. If they continue where they left off on this season, because they left really well, like the final 2 episodes, even the finale, the final episode, they do such a great job. And then even moving forward, like leading into like, this is where it's going to go, because I know where it's going to go, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go from there, because it's just laid out nicely and wonderfully. So yes, 10 out of 10. And if you're wondering like, why am I giving this, it is a great adaptation. It's really reasonably done. It's a fun story. That's why I give it a 10 out of 10. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on The Eminence in Shadow. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Let me know down in the comments if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify or any podcasting platforms, mostly in Spotify, there should be a tab below. Are you going to watch Eminence in Shadow? Thumbs up, or are you not? Or it's not my cup of tea. But yeah, thanks again for listening or watching. Until next time, see ya. See ya. See ya.